Good morning. Thanks to all of you who came along to the live chat webinar yesterday. Let's have a look at some of the lessons learned. First one, taking on a St Mirren lead against odds on at home Aberdeen, but notably in awful form. The reason they're fourth in the SPL is all the work they did in the first half of the season. Talking of first halves, use a specialist half-time markets if you want to lower your liability. You're going to get better odds because you've got an automatic time limit. This is what we did here. We laid St Mirren in the half-time market rather than going into the full 90-minute market, just because Aberdeen is in such poor form. But why are they odds on? In-play stats were good for Aberdeen, but this is my maximum loss. St Mirren made it 0-2. So we had a punt, didn't come off, but we kept the liability extremely low with a chance of winning a decent amount relative to the amount risked. That's 4 into 26. That's about a 6-to-1 return risk reward ratio. Pretty good. First lesson, half-time markets can allow you to have a go without it costing you too much liability wise. And this, the curse of the Champions League. 2-0 lead for a 10-man Dortmund. Now, I was telling members at footballtradingprofits.com that Werder Bremen scored 2 goals recently against Leipzig. That was against 11 players, so they might have a shot today. And again, the story, low liability. I love getting involved at 2-0, particularly when it's an undeserved lead, or it's a lead that could be in danger because of the red card for Dortmund. And it's pre-Champions League for Dortmund as well. If ever the wheels are going to fall off, they're going to fall off in a post and pre-Champions League weekend. 1.22 lay, 20s back of Werder Bremen. We're not looking for Werder Bremen to win. We're just looking to make use of that 101 quid to help us increase the green screen should they get those magic 2 goals. We'll find out soon whether they did or not. You can see on the right hand side, lots of feedback and lots of additional information from members. It really is a great community, all helping each other to make a few quid. An example from Bosun here. Keep a note of the current scores at half time. If the odds to lay 0-0, 1-0, 0-1 is over 6 at half time, it does indicate the market's expecting a goal in the second half. So again, you're getting these nice little tidbits. And also, Bosun telling us about a new manager for Dortmund as well. Could instill some changes in them. New managers are vitally important. You know all about Everton under their new manager, making great guns. And Michael, very happy to hear me bigging up Hull City after their excellent win against Sheffield United. Here, lock it in. Now we've got a special technique here at Football Trading Profits, but this is an example of locking it in. Once you've locked it in, it's guaranteed. It is guaranteed. So here we go. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Now that profit cannot be stolen from you, regardless of what happens. Post and pre-Champions League, that's when to take these sides on. Did you see the liability earlier on? Look at the reward. I could have waited for the potential for 100 quid on Werder Bremen, but I wasn't looking for that. I was looking to use that 100 quid to create a green screen. Get the draw, 33-33. I'll take that. Werder Bremen win, 33-33. Dortmund win. I'll make a massive 33-81. How am I going to spend that extra 50p? Wow, my head is spinning. Fantastic stuff. Another green screen for a very low risk. Looks like the market got it right with Nottingham Forest. They are top 3. Why are they top 3? Because they do the vast majority of their winning against 11th and lower. Arguably, they've had an easy run of it. But now they're meeting top 7. The wheels are falling off. But given their reputation for scoring 2+ goals away from home, laying Bournemouth at 1.03 and a small back of Forest at 160 for 50p or thereabouts, yield very low liability, but a very decent reward if Chris Wood et al. Can get going. That's what I love. Low risk, high reward. Now, another pre-Champions League side. Lost 1-0 pre-Champions League last week. Post-Champions League, pre-Champions League this weekend. More collywobbles from Atletico Madrid. They did concede first against the Yellow Submarine, but this is after the equaliser, and I would thoroughly recommend getting that money and making sure you've locked it in, because pre-Champions League sides are struggling. Griezmann on the bench, Sorloth on the bench, normally first 11 players. Llorente on the bench, De Paul on the bench, brought on second half. Have to make changes because of the Champions League, and that knocks them out of kilter domestically. But they unbeaten at home. That's what I trusted. Just looking for the equaliser, not looking for the full profit. Grab it. It's a nice return. Coupled with the Dortmund, you're making very good return for the afternoon. I give you two options at footballtradingprofits.com as well. This is the match odds option, making a little bit more because you're taking a little bit more risk. What I like to do for members is to try to tempt them in to look for that 86 quid by leaving a small loss on the draw. We're assuming Villarreal will not be winning, but what you can do at odds of 6-1 or 7's decimal is to get rid of that liability, load up profit on Atleti, which is exactly what I'm showing members of footballtradingprofits.com now. 67 quid, negating all liability. Not too shabby. You can leave that match now, knowing you're not going to lose and hoping you're going to get a late winner. And again, members pointing us out, 10 against 10 at Wolves should have been a signal to lay that draw, shouldn't it? Wolves normally conceding 3 goals against the top 6, top 7 at home under new management. Ideal opportunity to look for the Arsenal win, which indeed came. This is a look at the green. You could take that now or load up on Atletico Madrid and get that break even there. Again, lock it in. Once you've locked it in, it can't be taken away from you. So let's be having you, as Delia Smith says. Hopefully this arrow will move up to here and we'll lock it in. Once it's locked in, it can't be taken from you, regardless of what happens afterwards. Take a while to get matched. Let's come back once it's locked in. And there we have it. Locked in. New manager, David Moyes, making a big difference yet again. And that was a live stream, as you can see, right in front of your eyes, making you profit. If you fancy a bit of that, join footballtradingprofits.com's members area. Free trial offer. Have a look. Take up the offer. And I'll look forward to seeing you for a live chat webinar or a live stream on youtube.com/@footballtradingprofits throughout the season and throughout the summer as well. We've got our summer leagues. If you want the free training course, Betfair Trading Made Easy, then just wait for the pop-up. Put your name and email. All of the links are in the description below this video on YouTube. And don't forget that Champions League element today. It could affect some key teams. Looking through, I like to collect odds on favourites. Anderlecht against Mechelen. Watch out for Beerschot and Dender, both newly promoted sides. Could be vulnerable today, but the market 2.55 suggesting Dender are given a chance against Standard Liège, but not so Beerschot against Union Saint-Gilloise, who I think were involved in Europe midweek So just watch out for them. I think they were in the Europa League, unless I'm very much mistaken. Europa League. So this is a pre and post. I think we've got Europa League next week. I haven't double checked, but a good result against Braga must be said for Union Singulwa, because they're a pretty solid side, Braga. So watch out. They might be vulnerable. They're away from home as well. Croatian H&L 1 leg. We'll just go by the market here. 1.5 and 1.4. They'll get a look in as favourites. London Derby. Crystal Palace and Brentford. So be very careful with London derbies. And I'm going to stick my neck out here, like Teresa Caputo, the psychic fraud. A side in claret and blue may have a chance of winning this particular match. I've got that from the other side. So take that and profit from it. A side in claret and blue, or with a link to claret and blue, could be winning this match today. You've heard it here first. Crystal Palace and Brentford, not going to research. You've got to be very careful with London derbies. I could show you Crystal Palace's record in London derbies, but derbies, the form lines are thrown out the window, so there's absolutely no point researching. Let's be honest. Let's have a look at Palace against London opponents. Loss, 2 draws, loss to Brentford. Elsewhere, West Ham, loss and a win, and Tottenham, a 1-0 win. Brentford against London opponents, well, away from home, they're just awful, aren't they? Are they gettable immediately? But against London opposition, loss, despite scoring, loss despite scoring. A win against Palace, draw, scored again in defeat. So we've got a real pattern for Brentford, haven't we, in London derbies? Scoring without winning. But you've got to be very, very careful indeed. The boys from Tottenham. Is Ange Postecoglou still the manager? Leicester City are just hopeless under Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's another one of those names like Wayne Rooney. Just don't seem to be up to the managerial standard at all, while taking home a pretty penny every week. I'm not jealous at all, of course. Again, a side like Tottenham, you just can't trust. But we're likely to see a lot of goals. Heavy over 2.5 goal bias there. Aston Villa and West Ham, I would be favouring the Villains here with home advantage. West Ham under new management as well. Graham Harry Potter. Can he wave his magic wand and get a result? Like Everton, you might see an improvement under the new manager. That's why I always mention to Football Trading Profit Club members or footballtradingprofits.com members, you just be careful with the new management. Straight out of the blocks here. And then a loss to Crystal Palace. So conceding 2 goals, you'll note, in the 2 matches under Graham Potter. I do fear for them today. Aston Villa coming off the back, pre and post Champions League. This is where they're going to be at the most vulnerable again. So we've got that added factor, as well as the new manager factor, making this a very tough match to read. But at home, scoring and conceding in the last 4 Premier League matches without losing. Recent match against West Ham in the FA Cup on the 10th of January. I don't think we can use that as form, because we'll probably see some team changes there. Fulham against Man United, I wouldn't trust this lot as far as I could throw them. A very poor 2-1 win against Rangers. This is a Rangers you should be battering. Back in the old days, Premier League playing SPL, it's always going to be an easy Premier League win, but not so this season. Tottenham 1-1 and Man United late winner against Rangers. So Rangers arguably putting up some decent performances. Le Havre playing Champions League bound Brest. Might give Le Havre a chance today. 2.25 is very ropey odds for Brest. I'm not going to research this because of the Champions League angle. Coach, does your derby? You know what I feel about derby matches. They are very, very tough to read. We can have a look. Not Lyon, I think, are involved in Europe as well. Let's have a look at Toulouse Montpellier. 1.67 the favourite. Why are they 1.67? I think Montpellier might be at the wrong end of the table. But you saw Accrington Stanley winning yesterday against the top 2 or top 3 sides. You saw Hull City winning the day before. From now on to April, you're going to see some upsets because points mean prizes. 3 precious points could change the season for sides like Montpellier with only 3 wins all season coming at home. Toulouse coming off the back of an excellent run recently since the 20th of October, notably losing away to decent units in Paris Saint-Germain and Monaco and a 1-2 loss at home to Strasbourg. I don't know if that was red card affected or not, but Emega in solid form for Strasbourg and an own goal. So pretty much done at home to Strasbourg, but it's all about the challenge table. Scored in the last 8 at home, Toulouse. Conceded in the last 18, Montpellier. So on paper, this looks like a home win. It's 9th against bottom. Now, Accrington Stanley, Hull City, were there or thereabouts this weekend. A win for Montpellier could be vital for their season. Not scoring is their major problem away from home. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 occasions they've failed to score. Toulouse should be feeling confident, unbeaten against 11th and lower, scoring 2+ goals regularly as well. You can have a look at the French Ligue 1 table and you can see what a win will do for Montpellier today. 12, 13, 14, 15. It will just take them up a place. But I think this is a relegation playoff place in 16th. That's what they'll be aiming for, Montpellier and Le Havre, who are given a chance today against Brest, who are 10th at the moment. A win for Brest could have them knocking on the door of a top 6 place again. But sides like Brest, involved in European club competition, are going to be heavily affected, I would suggest. They're a small side comparative to your Real Madrids. So the Champions League is going to take on extra significance. Could see them struggling today against the Le Havre, who need points. So watch out for Le Havre and Montpellier. Nice and Marseille, as I've said, Coach Azure derby, wouldn't be playing that one at all. Eintracht Frankfurt, I believe, are involved in Europa League. So just be careful with them. The Hoff nearly pulled it off for us midweek. We did lay Tottenham 0-3 up. 2 goals from the Hoff. Didn't quite cross the line. What a pity. Good win against Holstein Kiel, but they're totally unreliable. That's the problem with Hoffenheim. Very tough team to read. We can have a look at this match. Hoff and Eintracht Frankfurt, and have probably come to the conclusion that it's not a good match to focus on. Let's have a look at the stats. Work our way down. Well, 1 win since the 1st of December for the Hoff. An awful Christmas, but they have had that winter break, of course. Coming off the winter break, failed to score in 2 matches against the Wolf and Bayern, but then scored 3 against Holstein Kiel. Frankfurt straight out of the blocks since the winter break. 3 consecutive wins, 2 of them to 0. So excellent stuff from them. Only really losing away to some pretty decent Champions League sides in Dortmund, Leverkusen and Leipzig, all involved in the Champions League. So arguably it's going to take a big name to beat Frank today. Scored in the last 17. Can you rely on them if Hoffenheim score first? They've conceded in the last 9 at home, the mighty Hoff. They're the Arthur Daly of the Bundesliga. You couldn't trust them at all. 3 of their 4 wins have come against the bottom 2. They're having an awful season, conceding 7 goals in 2 matches against the top 5. Conceded 3 goals against Frankfurt last time these two met. You would be favouring Frankfurt, but the market is a little bit lukewarm, isn't it, today for Frank? I quite like them. I like what I'm seeing. Normally with the Hoff, you're going to get goals before half time as well. So just look out for that pattern. 8 goals conceded in the 16th to 30th minute. 5 goals scored in the 0 to 15 minutes. So first half goals 1.5, first half goals 2.5. Lay the draw in a half-time market. Try to get 15 minutes out of it to get a bit of value. Frankfurt away, it's about 50-50 scoring but conceding. 9 of 12 goals conceded have come second half. So are we going to see a goal before half-time? We ordinarily do. Both sides have only had the 1-0 at half-time this season. So, looks like good odds, to be honest. But why is the market a little lukewarm? Maybe it's the Europa League. St. Pauli, it's a must-win for them against Union Berlin. So that's all I'm going to mention there. Your Hull Cities, your Accrington Stanleys. Watch out for these sides like St. Pauli and Montpellier and Le Havre. Must start picking up points. You're going to see a surprise or two. It's just trying to figure out which of these matches you're going to see the surprise in. Bundesliga 2, I'll be following for members of footballtradingprofits.com today as well for the live stream. Or even I'm going to get on a little bit earlier for you at 12:30. Greek Super League. This is a big derby. Olympiacos against Panathinaikos. You know what I feel about derbies. PAOK Thessaloniki against Levadiakos. 1.3. I'll be keeping an eye on that one. AC Milan against Parma. Again, Parma are doing okay, I think, mid-table. AC Milan, are they pre and post European club competition? That's the only Achilles heel for them today. You can check that in the head-to-head. CL Champions League. This is a pre and post, a post Champions League and a pre-Champions League weekend. Parma could pull off an upset if AC Milan are affected by the Champions League. You saw with Atletico Madrid making team changes could knock the side out of kilter. So watch out for that. Champions League. Roma, new manager, the Tinkerman, Claudio Ranieri. So it's difficult to get a handle on this one. Inter Milan against Lecce. Again, pre-Champions League and away for home. Sparta Prague. And thank you very much to Guy, who provided us with some Champions League information and Europa League information about teams who don't have anything to play for. That's all about the community. So wonderful stuff from Guy there yesterday, which I passed on during the live stream. Really superb effort. Thank you very much for that, Guy. Lazio against Fiorentina. It's a toughie. Let's have a look at this one before I depart. Lazio, Fiorentina. Very tough to unpack. The wheels are falling off the Viola. They could do with Batigol back. Gabriel Batistuta. As you can see, the wheels are falling off all of a sudden after a quite wonderful run since September. Lazio starting to find their footing again. This is a Roman derby. You'd ignore that, as you know, all about derby-style matches. Inter Milan absolutely bossed them there. And this is a bit of a surprise. Parma getting a 3-1 win. But apart from that, most of their defeats have come away from home. They look okay at home. Only really Inter Milan getting the best of them. 2 consecutive home draws. Pericomo. Well, that's 3 points dropped, I think, for Lazio. And against Atalanta, this is a derby-style match, so I wouldn't be looking too deeply into that. 3 goals against Verona. Much better, isn't it? But we need to see a bit more from Lazio at home, failing to score that second goal in the last 3 home matches. As I say, with the Viola, the wheels are falling off after a quite wonderful run from 22nd of September to 8th of December. That's the problem. That's probably why the odds are a little difficult. 4th against 7th, so a top 7 clash. So again, it's going to be difficult to discount Fiorentina, but notably, they haven't beaten a top 6 side away from home. Lazio looking pretty solid against 6th and lower at home. So that's looking okay. Goal times, any patterns we can see? Well, you can see that total 13 goals scored in the last 15 minutes. 6 of them scored in the last 15 minutes of home matches. And Fiorentina, this could be all down to substitutions on the hour mark. 6 goals scored. Wow, quite something. Late finishes as well in the first half, but this is what I would focus on as well as this, the high likelihood of second half goals if we don't see any in the first half. But it's a tough market. 2.05. Lazio given the nod here, probably down to the wheels falling off for Fiorentina. There are other matches of interest today. Serie B I like. Eredivisie looks a toughie today, but Eight at Alkmaar are normally reliable. So I'll see members for a live stream probably on a Sunday. It's going to be a 2 o'clock start. Girona involved in the Champions League lost last week. Atletico Bilbao involved in Europe as well. I do like them though. They do look reliable. Barcelona draw last week pre-Champions League. This is post-Champions League and pre-Champions League weekend. Are they going to be vulnerable against Valencia? We will see. No point doing research because of the Champions League element. I'll see members, I think 2 p.m. would capture Serie A, French League 1, and the vast majority of the Premier League. So 2 p.m. for a live stream for members of footballtradingprofits.com. And if you like what you saw yesterday, then come along, join Football Trading Profits member area for the free trial offer. Or at the very least, take out a look at the Premier League research by joining the email list, Betfair Trading Made Easy. I'll see members of footballtradingprofits.com at 2 p.m. and earlier on our dedicated Telegram service. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see members a little bit later.